So I want to do a quick demo to show you some options. When you're doing your furniture tag, sometimes you get to a tag that doesn't fit nicely in the circle that we use for our furniture tags. So this is an example where I've got a CH8 for a chair and it's just outside of the circle. So there's a couple of different options I can do. I can either enlarge the circle slightly or I can create a text style that's slightly smaller to use for the tags. So let me start by showing you how you would adjust the size of the circle. And before I start, I'm going to just go in and adjust my drawing units to have a precision of 1/64th because we're going to really be kind of splitting hairs with the sizes here. So I just want to make sure I've got enough wiggle room there to be able to see to the 64th of an inch. So I'm going to click OK. Now what I want to do is I want to go into the Insert tab and go to Block Editor. Now the block that we use for the tag is this tag circle. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to select the circle, which is this part of the block, and let me close this over here. I'm going to open up properties and see what size the circle is. Right now the diameter is 1/4 of an inch. What I want to do is I want to make it just slightly bigger. So I'm going to go up to 9/32. And you can see it just jumped up a little bit in size. Now I'm going to go in and say Save Block, and I'm going to close my block editor. Now you can see that my circle is big enough now to contain that CH8. The downside with doing this method, you can see that the block that the tag that I've already put in, there's this little extra piece that you then have to kind of deal with. But if I then put in a new tag, and then I put in my CH8, then you can see it deals with that that insertion point there. So if you make the change before you start tagging, or you've only got a few tags and don't mind redoing a few, then this method works just fine. So now what I want to do, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to undo that change basically so that I can then show you the other method. So let me select my circle again, go back into properties, and I'm going to set it back to 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to hit save and close. Okay, so now this time what I want to do is I'm going to create a new text style. So I'm going to go into Annotate, and I'm going to go into my styles, and I'm going to create a new style, and I'm going to just call it tag for ease. And I'm going to leave it as Stylus BT, and this time I'm going to adjust my paper text height. I want to make it just a little bit smaller, so if I think that 3/32 is the same as 6/64, if I just double it, so I'm going to try 5/64. And it's a little bit of trial and error with this, but we can see how that will work. So now we're going to go back into our block editor, and I'm going to go to block editor, and this time I'm still going to go into tag circle, but this time I'm going to select the text and go into properties, and I'm going to set the style to tag, and you can see it drop the size a little bit. Now the other thing I want to do, when I'm changing the size, it might adjust the justification. So what I want to do is make sure that my justification is set to middle center, and that the insertion point, which is this grip here, is the center of my circle. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't adjust the justification. So now I'm going to save my block and close my block editor. And you can see that, again, it's now fitting nicely within the circle. So either method works. It just kind of depends on how many tags you've got in place already. If you've already got a bunch of tags, I'd probably go with the text method, because the difference in the text versus the 3/32 inch that we use typically for notes is going to be very, very negligible and really visually not that apparent. So like I said, there's always more than one way to do this. So it's good to know a couple of different options.